Hey everybody, welcome back to Health Matters with myself, Ryan O'Connor, in association with Cipla now. This week's guest is special, so special to have her on this podcast. An international hockey player, to say the least. I mean, 167 international caps representing South Africa at the Women's Hockey World Cup and the Tokyo Olympic Games. Ladies and gents, currently a co-captain of our national team, also a digital brand manager and strategist at Totalsports. All of that, I can only be talking about one person, Quanita Bobbs. How are you?
That sounded like a mouthful. No, I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to be at Cipla and to join you today.
It is. It's lovely to have you here. When did you discover that you were actually pretty good with a hockey stick in your hand?
Wow. It's actually been a fruitful journey. I started playing hockey in grade 3.
Okay.
I think that's the age of 10.
Yeah.
And you don't realize at the time that your life's going to change.
Yeah.
Like when you pick up a
Sure.
stick or you kick the ball.
Yeah.
No, but it's been fantastic. I mean, I picked up the stick in grade 3 and it just felt so natural to me. I was a very quiet, shy kid. But with the stick in my hand and on the field, I was like outspoken. I'd show with my actions.
Yes.
I just really enjoyed it. I was such a dad's girl as well. So every Saturday I would say, bye, Mom.
Off with that.
Off with Dad to the sports field. Every single Saturday I would go with him to the hockey field. He belonged to a club called Central Hockey Club.
Yes.
And I was there from 8 in the morning till the floodlights went off. Like I was
And even then you're probably still out. Your dad was going, enough, we need to go
exactly.
now.
And I used to watch the senior players, such talented hockey players at the clubs. I used to watch them play. I was too scared to join the club at first, so I just used to play on the field between halftime breaks and play with the kids.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really enjoyed the sport. And then at home, when I'd get home, I'd play in my garage. We had this long garage with cement floors, and it actually makes you feel like you have faster hands than you do.
Yes.
And I used to put out obstacles, using the broom, chairs, and I used to put out obstacle courses for myself. And that's how I just developed my skills for the game. And I've been, and then I started playing for the club.
Yeah.
I actually had my first disappointment at the age of 13 when I went for zonal trials. I didn't make the final zonal team under 13, and I still remember that moment. It's so one of the only memories I have. Standout moments when I was so disappointed that I didn't make it, and my dad fetched me from trials, and I didn't want to show him my disappointment. And we were he went into the shop, and I was in the car, and as soon as he got out, I bawled. I cried.
Man.
At the age of 13, I cried like someone died. I was so disappointed.
Your dad must have been like, what?
No,
what
he
happened?
wasn't there. I wouldn't cry in front of my dad.
Okay.
As soon as he left, I cried.
Got you.
And I was like, in that moment, I realized hockey actually means a lot to me, and I really want to pursue the sport. And since then, it's just been one heck of a journey. And all the way from under 14 to now making my national debut in 2012. And it's been amazing.
You've had an incredible career that's full of obviously highs and also lows and downs as well, like any professional sports person. Being a pro athlete in sport, those experiences in terms of life lessons that you've learned, they're invaluable, and you'll impart those with the next generation, not only of sports people, but also of future business leaders.
Well, you see, being a professional athlete in an amateur sport is quite tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the toughest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, hockey in South Africa is not a professional sport. We don't get paid to play. But so when you're trying to be a professional athlete, there's no one there to watch what you eat. There's no one there to monitor you on a daily basis to see if you're actually doing the training. So it takes a lot of discipline, self-discipline to stick to the program and make sure you training and living that professional lifestyle you need to live as an athlete. So it's tough, and obviously balancing life at the same time. But it's super fun. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
You've hidden something that's so important, is that how much harder it is not being a professional every other country we look at that, that's a part of the opposition that become your opposition. This is what they do for a living.
Yes.
They don't go and work and ply their trade at, in your instance, at Totalsports to bring income in. And when it comes to touring and then find a way to fund and sustain yourself, that must be, the determination and passion and love for your craft must be immense, and you can understand to a degree why a lot of our talent don't want to play here, why they want to, and it's unfortunate, sure, but it's also understandable why they don't want to stick around, why they'll go overseas and spend their lives in Holland or in the States, wherever, because they're appreciated there and they get to do what they love and get paid for it.
Yeah. I know. It's tough, but I think that's why I'm so proud to be a national representative, because I'm showing these youngsters an opportunity that if you do have a goal, say for example to play hockey for South Africa, you can have this career. You can go to an Olympics. You can build a career outside of sport and play sports. So, I think it's just about giving hope to the youth and saying, actually, stay in the country. Look at the women's cricket team at the moment.
Well, I was going to talk to you about women's sport in general.
Insane.
This has been, and it's going to be a phenomenal year, because we've got a Netball World Cup coming up in Cape Town in a couple of months' time. The focus on women's sport has been, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because there's so many people that have fought for this, fought for a space in the sun, because it's been predominantly male and predominantly our what you'd call them, our primary sports, the sports that get all the attention and love. And we haven't had a spotlight, an opportunity for other sports, and specifically women in sport, to shine. And this is the year. And it's like, it's so, I was watching the cricket,
honestly,
and I was like,
it's amazing. It gives me goosebumps. I get so emotional when I see the support at the stadiums for these women and on social media. It's amazing. Like, it's honestly, the growth that we are now heading into for women's sport is positive, and it did look a bit dim a few years ago.
It did,
so it's finally nice to see that we're getting the recognition we deserve on media.
Yes.
But also, like, people are going to the stadiums, which is amazing.
Which is incredible. That's what you want, the
best
support.
Part, yeah.
When you became, and you remember getting your first international cap, did you then go, okay, that's a box ticked for me. I have a goal of, for example, Olympics. Were you going, how far was the Olympics away from your first cap?
Yeah.
And was that your target in terms of, I've got to be a part of this team, qualify for Olympics and get to the Olympics? So
I'm pretty goal driven. I set my goals for like 3 years, 5 years ahead.
Got you.
So when I actually went to the Youth Olympic Games.
Okay.
The first one in Singapore.
Okay.
In 2010, and that's when I got my first taste of the Olympics, which was quite cool. And then ever since then, I was like, yes, I need to go. I want to become an Olympian.
Yeah.
So I do write my goals down, and I do actively try achieve every single one. But the Olympics has been quite a long, tough journey for me. So I made the team in 2012, just after the London Olympics.
Yes.
And then the next Olympics was Rio.
Yeah, no, that was a job you like.
And then so we didn't get we weren't sent to Rio.
Yes.
So that was 4 years.
So that was like, I'm going to wait another 4 years for Tokyo.
So I actually only ended up going 9 years later to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So because of
correct.
pandemic.
Yes.
So the Tokyo Olympics was delayed another year.
So it's like you keep pushing out your goals. Like, this was supposed to be like a couple of years.
It was crazy.
Turning out to be.
I was in the final selection for Tokyo, and then the pandemic pushed it out a year. So you had to train again and be fit again. And
under different circumstances,
and up for
where you couldn't
selection
actually
again.
go and train and get match time in.
Exactly. So it was a tough time, but made it work, and then eventually reached the Olympics, which was absolutely insane and an honor. And then I have my sights on Paris next year.
Definitely.
So it's always been my dream to become a double Olympian. Not that I'm chasing accolades, just because I want to play
correct
at the highest level and test myself. And represent the country. So it's exciting.
In between all of the responsibilities, which would keep anyone busy for 27 hours in a day, you've obviously got a massive passion to give back to the sport as well. And there's a lot of young girls that look up to you and go, Quanita, we want to be like you one day when we grow up. And more so now than ever before. More so now, we've got young, driven females who are dying
super
talented.
Yeah.
Are we seeing on a grassroots level enough being done for sports like hockey?
Not quite, to be honest. I think there's still a lot of work to be done. I think schools level at the moment, because every school has an Astro now. It's insane. Schools,
it's true. Gee.
I know school sport at the moment is flying, and it's becoming so popular, and the amount of money and good coaching that schools are getting. I feel like a coach is the first place you start. So make sure the schools get good coaching to teach kids the right way and the right skills. So for me at school level, it's fantastic to see. I mean, with all these tournaments and super sports schools now live streaming all their games, it's just another platform for hockey to go and get more exposure.
And we've seen a shortened format of the game that's taken off and exploded around the world. It's almost like the T20 version of hockey. That's made it exciting for a whole different audience. And that's exciting for the sport of hockey.
So that's, you're talking about fives there. So that is exciting, a different game. And probably another opportunity for someone who doesn't necessarily have the skills for 11-a-side to play fives. So it's just great that our sport's expanding.
What challenges, and we spoke about them already, I mean, you can go back and listen, being an amateur, in any sport at the highest level of that sport, when majority of the people you're playing against are professional, has its challenges within itself. But what other obstacles are faced as a woman in sports? And we spoke about that now it's getting more spotlight, but there's so many other also facets of struggles that you have being a woman in sport.
I think... as I said, exposure is like I said earlier, is one of them. I feel like you almost need to prove yourself before you get noticed. Like the cricket team, when they started doing well and they started getting results,
people are interested.
Then people were interested and they started getting the funding they deserve individually and as a team. So I think if only brands and sponsors would back the teams from the beginning, you never know. Like we might skyrocket even further and at an accelerated rate. So for me, I think that's one of it. And with hockey, it's so difficult because we're not full time and we're not centralized. So it's so difficult to get the results we want to get, and obviously results speak. And so when you're on the radio and they announce your results, you obviously want to win. So when you keep losing, it's really tough. But I feel like there needs to be more storytelling for women in sport, and it's getting better. But that's one of the struggles.
I love that. And if you are listening and you're in a position as a corporate to help out in any way, on any stage of development for some of the younger players, put your hand up and get involved, because we're never going to find tomorrow's Quanita out there without going and investing in our young female hockey stars from a young age. This is what development is all about. And to corporates watching and listening, we'd appreciate you reach out. And there's great clubs, there are great organizations in which you can reach out and connect with and find out a bit more about the programs they have in place, and back one that you believe in and one that resonates with you.
Definitely.
You, and I spoke about this when we started, have this juggling act of sport, life, eating well, it's balance, right? And it's so easy to say balance. When I battle to balance on a bicycle, Quanita balances all of this and is still able to stay healthy, stay fit, do a phenomenal job with understanding people that allow you to travel the world. How do you find your balance?
Well, first of all, you learn a lot about yourself. You have to get to know yourself, actually, on another level. You have to know, can I wake up early in the morning? And if you can't do that, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
don't beat yourself up.
Stop trying to be that person that wakes up when you're actually not. When you wakes up early when you're not. So try to get to know yourself. And I always say quality over quantity. If I'm not feeling up, if I had a long day at work and I don't feel like training after work, I don't put pressure on myself.
Got you.
I make sure to put that session in maybe later on in the week. So for me, it's all about quality over quantity and listening to your body and making sure you're in the right mental state to do everything. And
when your body says, I want pizza, do you listen to it or do you go, no, I can't afford to have that? I mean, how much of listening to that body? And I'm hearing you because that's very wise to actually listen to your body. When it says, I've had enough for the day, rest. My body's constantly asking me for things and I'm constantly, as you can see, giving in. It goes, pizza, go, okay. I'm like, can I have there's no even battle for a fight back from my side.
No. You have to fight back.
Yeah.
You have to have the mental strength.
That's the thing that you've got.
Yes, you have to have the mental strength to say no to yourself, like to call it quits some days. But you also have to have the mental strength to how can I say, to train and overcome
those.
But it's about
thoughts.
Finding that balance.
Yeah. Speaking of mental health has obviously been a major focus globally over the past couple of years. More so during the tough few years we had when we were all not allowed to leave our homes, when we were seeing family members diagnosed, suffering, dying from a pandemic. Mental health was under the spotlight in terms of, the awareness, pretty much being able to talk out about it. It's a vital cog. And again, I'm reminded again when I meet people that are former players, and it's always strange. It's never the current players. The current players seem to be in an environment where they're around other people that are experiencing a similar or same situation. It's when you leave and your family splits up that I've noticed that professional sports people, when they walk away from their sport, even though they were a part of a family and it was easier for them to be in that space, it's much harder for them to mentally adjust outside of the professional or the top sports environment because they're no longer there.
Yeah.
So mentally and mental health becomes a huge issue because they battle mentally with where to next for them. How do I fill this void that was my whole life?
I can actually relate to that because I think mental health comes in a transition phase. So I actually went through a bit of a anxiety period where it was after university and after being a student athlete, that whole era of super, super busy. And you have to decide, okay, what am I going to do now? So do I go play hockey overseas or do I find work experience? Like it was a very tough decision because, do you find work experience because, later on in life you're going to need it, or do you go play overseas and become a better hockey player? Not to say that you can't do it here, but and through that stage, like through that transition stage, you develop anxiety but I'm grateful for that experience because now I know at certain areas of life that I develop anxiety and I can identify it quickly.
Absolutely.
And I can handle it. So it's crazy. I mean, I used to struggle with a lot of self-confidence when I played as a youngster because I played with all these amazing hockey stars in South Africa and I was super young, so I struggled with confidence and I just lent on books and I lent on people, and family support is really important. But over time I've developed ways and skills to get into a zone, if that makes sense. And it takes time, and you have to be patient with yourself. But I buy so many self-help books and psychology books just to, whether it's like habits or resilience and stuff like that, just to read. I'm
a massive believer in exactly what you're saying now. I think a lot of people, they've got demons that they keep to themselves for years. If you want to call them demons, it's just, those spaces and blocks of trouble that they carry with them for a long time. And I think that to your point, it's okay to go through what you're going through. It's okay to say, I'm actually not doing well. I'm actually under a lot of pressure. I'm feeling very anxious about what the future holds. This is where I am. And then you'll be amazed at how many people, from family members to close friends to people that you didn't even expect to be able to give you help, are there to help you and play a vital role in supporting you through what you're going through. I want to talk a little bit about, do you have a specific way to unwind? Now, we've spoken a lot about the sports side. How does Quanita relax? It's weekend, you've got nothing on this weekend, right? Nothing. It's your choice. You can do, let's say it's a perfect weekend.
Yes.
Sun is shining. You can do whatever you want this weekend. How do you unwind? And I don't want you to think about hockey.
No, I'm such an indoor plant.
Me too. But
I love my home and I love just staying inside. Okay, so I love, besides hockey, I do love training.
Okay.
And I do love living an active lifestyle. So I will do something outdoors and I will go to the gym or go run because I need that consistency in my life.
Yeah.
So I would probably go walk or go hike or go to the gym, and then I'll go inside. I'll go to my house and watch sport all day, or I'll watch series. I'll read. I'll play. I like board games, card games, and I spend a lot of time with my family. So yeah, that's me. I'm pretty simple. I love the simple life.
So that is happiness for you. That's happiness. And on a rainy day, board games are like just the best.
Honestly, it's the best. Like, I just love being inside and watching a good movie. And watching sport, and
you can sit and just you got nothing else but you and the remote, and a whole afternoon of watching whatever you want.
Best, honestly. Not with load shedding, but
exactly.
That's enough. I've had to find another way to keep me entertained at home, but it's all good.
Young upcoming athletes, people that might not be that motivated to keep at what they love. Maybe, they've had disappointment in their life and they want to overcome it. A message for tomorrow's stars.
I would say don't become stagnant or complacent. I think there's always room to grow individually in all areas of your life. So make sure you keep working on yourself. And that's important. And don't give up on your goals. Write them down. Find and write down ways to achieve them. And I encourage you to do so. Yeah.
What's next for Quanita Bobbs?
It's a busy year.
You are. I mean,
I have a hectic hockey schedule this year. In the build up to Paris next year. So it's about getting as much game time, international exposure with the group. Hopefully getting super fit, staying injury free, and I also have obviously work.
I love that afterthought. And by the way, I've got to work as well.
Hockey's my full-time job. I work part-time. No, I'm joking. I do have a full-time job, so I'm looking to grow in that area as well, and hopefully start something on the side. So I'm very entrepreneurial minded. So I would love to start my own thing in line with sport and women in sport. So I have a few ideas. So hopefully that will come into fruition this year.
We're going to start our own platform for anti-bullying for hockeys. I've just thought of it. It's going to be called Sticks and Stones.
Oh gosh, okay.
Hey, that's a cool name,
Okay.
That's a cool
Sticks
name
and
for anti-bullying in hockey. Sticks and Stones
Sticks
for
and
youngsters.
Stones.
That's a great name for a foundation. I'm keeping that one, Quanita. Listen, thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you, more of you on TV and getting more TV time ahead of a very important year being next year.
Yeah.
We hope you stay healthy. You look great. You look phenomenal.
Thank
You're
you.
a beaming which is
Thank
what we
you.
love to see. May it stay that way. May you be injury free. May your health be amazing as always.
Thank you so much.
May you go and represent, as you do so well, South Africa next year in Paris.
Thank you so much. And guys, follow the South African women's hockey team.
Like, subscribe, please follow their journey.
A cool bunch of girls of all areas of life and all ages. So
Who's the party animal in the team? Okay, hang on, we've got to end this. The SA ladies hockey team. Who is the loudest in the team?
The loudest. We have a few. We actually a bunch. We love dancing.
Yeah. So who's the DJ in the team?
The DJ, I would say, is Tati Zulu.
Okay.
Yeah. The loudest is probably Bianca Wood. You guys don't know them, but
Go and look. They are.
Just follow the page and you'll see.
Absolutely.
The Soul Hockey page.
Listen, thank you once again. It's lovely to have you on this podcast with me.
Cool.
Stunning.
Thanks for having me.
Folks, like, subscribe, and join us again for another edition of Health Matters, proudly brought to you by Cipla. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode.